All right, so this is the Drupal core cross initiatives meeting for February 7th, 2019, and we have the smallest group ever, I think. We had maybe a meeting with like 4 people before, but now with 3. So I guess we'll talk about the admin UI, and Christina can start.
Okay, so from last week, mainly the editor role discussion has been moving on. We finally have a decision about the focus style on the design side. And the main change or the main thing that we just have known is that the plan of having Claro in the new Akia Lightning release. So it means we have a kind of deadline there. And we are planning to have a design call to see what are the MVP elements for it. And I think that's all so far because mainly things are just moving forward on the Claro theme, thanks to Laurie and Zoltan, and that's all. We have to have some kind of call with the JavaScript side of the initiative to see how we can actually move forward for integrating the designs on the JavaScript part, but nothing specific yet. And that's all.
Do you know what deadline are you looking at now?
What do you mean?
So you said you'd kind of have a deadline now? So
Yeah, Laurie said there's going to be some kind of launch or something and a release on March. So it means we should have some design finished so it can be implemented before that. So we're kind of trying to see which is the deadline, but also which are the elements there. So it's more or less we're talking about 2-3 weeks for design.
Yeah, I mean, there's a March deadline for new stuff in core for 8.7. So if an MVP makes it by then it could be a experimental theme in 8.7, right?
Oh, wow.
Or is that not what you're looking for?
Yeah, Laurie talked about the Lightning. I'm not really sure if he was thinking on making it an experimental thing for core yet. I'm not really sure about that. I don't understood that this was his goal, at least for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a really serious discussion to have if we really want to have Claro there. We don't have enough time, I think.
Yeah, it's certainly in a month. That's ambitious.
Yeah. The main problem that we have is that we really don't have part of me. We really don't have any designer focused right now, and I'm not just doing design here, so I don't have enough time for just doing design. And that's the main goal. I already talked about that a while ago. And we have some designers that are investing their own time. So that's the main problem there. That they have life.
So Sasha is working on some stuff here and there.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's basically limited by whoever has time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main problem. And yeah, there are no more updates. Well, I'm going to try to contact to move forward the editor or maybe editor and another role issue for the ideas for Drupal core. And I might try to contact with some distributions to see how they are handling it. but it's going to be work to start planning this probably tomorrow and start doing some contacts for next week, probably.
And then you plan that for 8.7 as well.
You mean having the editor role?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I mean, if it's something, yeah, I'm not really sure, because mainly for the things that Angie said the other day, that if we pick editor as the machine name, we can have conflicts with current installations, and this kind of path to update needs to be planned, and I'm not really sure what are the pain points that we're going to face if we move forward. So yeah, I think it needs a better plan. A patch is not enough.
Yeah, there was some similar issues with media recently where they wanted to rename the file media type to the document media type to file, and there was similar concerns in machine name conflicts, etc., and how to handle it with existing sites.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So it looks like the Claro could be in Acquia Lightning soon, and then probably added early into 8.8, I guess.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if we really also need to start moving the other part of the initiative for the next gen, instead of only focusing ourselves on Claro, we really need more hands there.
Yeah.
That's the main problem.
Yeah, I think that I think the inclusion of Claro in 8.8 early would be a great success point to celebrate, and also would give us some PR possibility to involve more people on, okay, now it looks better, and now let's make the behavior more dynamic as well,
Yeah.
instead of just painting it differently.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be a great point to try to involve more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the other day we were talking with Matt that there's a lot of branches of the initiative, and that not everybody knows all the parts of it. It's really huge, because if you're talking about actually starting to talk about adding an editor role, adding a new theme, and also talking about React and all these things, it's super huge. And the problem is that if someone wants to get involved, it's a lot of stuff to take into account. But I don't know. I guess that's what happens with huge changes.
Yeah. There needs to be some kind of plan to break it down to smaller pieces, so we can make some parts of it happen.
Agree. Okay, but let's get other people talking today.
Yeah, I think if we get Claro in 8.8 early, then we could also get Dries to highlight it. And if it's in a place that it works, then we can have Dries highlighted in the Dries node as well, which would be, I think, useful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've seen some good feedback on the channel today. So apparently, people are trying out the theme now.
That's cool.
So that's exciting. I'm actually trying it out right now, as we speak. But definitely more work to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work there.
Yeah.
Especially some key elements like the header and some other things that they will have a huge impact when they are in.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right. So in the meantime, Keith arrived. Hi, Keith.
Hi, everyone. Do you want me to provide a quick update to Out of the Box?
If you can, that would be amazing. Yeah, especially if there's ways we can help.
I think it's probably quite a short update. I wish I knew more at the moment about languages. I know you joined us for the call on Tuesday, Gabor. I'm currently still at the same sort of status there where that one's concerned, and not too sure quite where the languages work is up to. But I know Elliot is pressing on with it and wanting to keep it moving forward.
I think a bunch of RTBC issues for translations of the Umami stuff. So once they start landing, then there will be some translations in core.
Yeah. Okay.
First multilingual user content.
Yeah. Yeah. So in terms of actual progress, there's quite a bit of activity going on in terms of folks chipping in on issues that have been open for a little while, which is really nice to see. So there's a fair bit of effort going on at the moment to improve the content. So that's improve the images, improve the presentation of the content. We're adding some hero banners to the landing pages, because at the moment the homepage and the recipes landing page has the same hero banner, has done for some time. So we're adding a new one in for an updated vegan chocolate recipe, which hopefully should make things look kind of nice and refreshed and
yummy.
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting the imagery better as we go. So and I'm working on images at the moment, and just basically sort of skipping between tasks from a design point of view. So we've also been refining the design because of accessibility. So those hero banners are especially problematic because they have they used to have just text straight over the image, which means you've got to get the image just right. So there's an issue going on at the moment to just add a shim behind the text, and that's pretty much nearly done, I think. So there's some good progress going on there. I'm going to be picking up excuse me. I'm going to be picking up the tour module work again this coming week, and I noticed that Offer has been working on that as well. I saw there was a quick update to that issue. So work is progressing. Obviously, as ever, it's just a case of folks' time and availability. But yeah, we are progressing, and issues are moving on.
Yeah, I think we also discussed in the last meeting that the media and layouts may not end up stable enough in time. And I think there's work going on for layouts, so that could land basically anytime, and for Umami.
Yeah, Mark's been really keen to progress that all along, and I suspect we've probably got some work that we can. I mean, that one might not be too bad to do because we did a lot of that theming work originally. So the proposed original designs rely on that layout builder work. Layout builder modules to exist. So, but in terms of the theming work, I would imagine we pretty much repurposed that. So that should speed things along quite nicely.
Yeah, there was a conversion to fieldable, to have a fieldable design system that's reusable for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anything that we can help with, specifically promote?
I'm afraid I haven't got anything. And sorry, I didn't ask folks before the call. I got really caught up at a client's today.
That's fine. Yeah, Elliot usually attends this, and he brings stuff, but he may be able to do that later. Maybe I will ping him about that. Probably commit would help for the translations. Okay. Thank you. So we don't have anyone from Migrate, but I've been at the Migrate meeting earlier today. That was 2 hours ago. And an important piece that I gathered is that the team decided to look at the multilingual migrations and since they don't have hope to finish them by 8.7, they decided to change strategy and instead evaluate the outstanding multilingual migrations in terms of the potential for backwards compatibility breaks. And if there does not seem to be potential, or there's low potential, then they would propose to mark multilingual migration stable and declare the missing things as missing features instead of stability blockers, because they are missing features. So I will try to make note of that. So that's, I guess, an important information from the Migrate meeting. The team unfortunately lost 2 high-profile contributors that were working on multilingual migrations earlier. Maxo Cab moved on to a job that he works on with. He works with Python now and not Drupal at all. And Masipula is a famous Finnish. What's the name? Anyway, he's in a sports that the name escapes me right now. It's also a sports, also a ice sport in Canada, but for some reason I don't know the name. And he's busy with that, and he has a new kid to be born soon. So unfortunately, the people working on those issues are severely cut recently. So that's for Migrate. I guess I will type those notes later, and then I can also report for Drupal 9, which I have even more familiarity with than Migrate. And what's going on there is we've been working on a bunch of issues around Symfony 4 compatibility. And the past week, we've had days when we committed 1 Symfony 4 compatibility issue a day. That was nice. That was at the start of the week. And then it slowed down a bit, but we now have a thorough index of the remaining compatibility issues with Symfony 4. On the, I should provide a link here, Symfony 4 issue, and we picked up work today on a bunch of them, so we are looking at fixing 2 more hopefully soon. We'll be very close to being able to have green tests with Symfony 4. So I hope that we can say by 8.7 that you could optionally run Drupal 8.7 with Symfony 4 if you want to. Not all issues are easy the same way, so there may be some things hiding that are harder than the previous ones, but in the past 10 days, I think we cut down from 200 fails to 12 fails on the issue, so it's not bad. So we'll keep working on that. And I was trying to find people to work on the Twig 2 optional support issue, because we are also supposed to be able to support that. There was a patch committed several months ago that supposedly made us compatible with Twig 2, but now we are actually testing compatibility. It doesn't actually work. So it fails some stuff, and Lee Roland said that he will start looking at that. And Kotzer submitted the last patch about a week and a half ago, so there's hopefully going to be more people looking at that. And if those 2 happen for 8.7, that would be fabulous, because then we can get people test Symfony 4 and Twig 2 and get a bunch of bugs ironed out much sooner than we had originally hoped. On the other front of deprecations for and getting country modules updated, I decided to write a blog post on my blog about best practices for contribs to update, because there was a bunch of misinformation and people clinging to old practices of waiting until the last minute to update modules. So I tried to explain the process of why that's not appropriate anymore. and the suggested process of updating continually with core and why and how and all of that stuff. And I got some good feedback from people, so it seems to be fine. I've incorporated a bunch of suggestions from Birdier in the post about working with maintainers and providing the best guidance from maintainers and discussing process with them and being patient, etc., so that we get some of that collaboration with people and maintainers don't freak out that people invade their issue queues with Drupal 9 when it's still not that soon yet. And finally, Matt Gleiman was working on a solution for running his deprecation tool integration with PHP Stan on the top 100 contributed modules every single day, so that we would have a site that you can go to any day and you could see the status of the top 100 contributed modules in terms of Drupal 9 compatibility automatically. And he completed that and is currently finding bugs in how he completed that. So it's not 100% working, but it's very nice. And it shows that most of the 100 contributed modules, no surprise, are not yet compatible with Drupal 9. But some are actually compatible with Drupal 9. So that's funnily enough. So yeah, that's great. And so his tool basically lists all the failures from all the modules, so you can review modules one by one and see where they fail and submit issues for them, and we can bring this to sprints and people can divide and conquer and submit issues for contrib modules to fix deprecations or fix one kind of deprecation across multiple contrib modules that's maybe easy to script or that's easy to fix manually. So it's going to be really powerful. We could also use it to track compatibility of the 100 top contributed modules with Drupal 9 if we are to do yet another tool that saves the state of the report every day or something, and then we can like look at the beautiful burn down chart or whatever if we want to, but that needs more work to happen.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is it focused only on the top 100? Is there a way that it could be abstracted to be for any module to check against?
If somebody has the resources to make that happen, yeah, sure, yes. So I think that Matt was looking to have a list that's like the most used modules, and he's working on this in his contrib time and running the server off of his own money or whatever. So that's how it is. So if somebody is, I mean, all of his code is open source. So the link I sent in the chat is basically the open source, the whole thing that runs the service. So anybody could set up the code with any other module. So what happened last week is Dries actually ran this on his own custom code on his own blog and found a bunch of deprecated stuff, and he fixed them, and then he tweeted about the progress and what he did, and that was quite nice. And yet I included that in my blog post as well as encouragement that like you can run this on your own thing. It's if you have Composer already and you know how to use Composer, then you can run this with Composer with a few lines of command line code, and then
yeah, I think this would be very cool. I just wonder why D.O can't like pick it up.
Yeah, so there was another discussion between Ryan Aslat from the DA and Matt Gleiman that the D.O has a long-standing wish list item to run this kind of tool on Drupal.org. So it could theoretically be integrated with testbot on Drupal.org. I think Matt started to look at that, but it entirely depends on his ambitions and availability, whether that he's going to make that happen. But it certainly is possible to make that integration happen, and then you could have a report on every module page that says like Drupal 9 readiness report, and you can go there, and it would be a developer-facing thing. Like it would list in a very developer form all the deprecations that are found, but you could abstract that to a red-green dot in terms of whether there was any fails found or not. Yes.
It also might be really interesting just from the Drupal project standpoint, which is why I was thinking D.O, because if we could report on real data around the state of readiness of all modules, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that's entirely possible. And Ryan Aslett from the DA Mixologic and Matt Glayman were already in discussion around that. I think Matt decided to just set it up for the 100 because that's what he has resources for, and because he knows how to do this, and he has never done integration with testbot stuff before, and that would be more of a learning curve for him to be involved in there. But it could be integrated with testbot and put on Drupal.org somehow as well. I guess we can also, if there's some availability at the DA to do that, then they could also integrate this. Since the code is open source from that, they could integrate this with testbot as well. That may be faster.
But that would mean it would only check modules that have testbot enabled, which is going to be a very small portion of the overall 20,000 or however many modules there are, right?
That's, I don't know.
Whereas this tool is external and can hit them regardless if they have any unit tests at all, because it's a static analysis tool, right?
Yeah, but the testbot stuff. So Ryan said that they were looking to integrate this static analysis tool in testbot as well as an additional measure of testing. It's true that if it would be integrated with whoever already has testbot enabled for their project, then they would highly limit the scope on Drupal.org, but it could be enabled on Drupal.org regardless of testbot enablement, I guess. So it could be integrated in a different way on Drupal.org, I guess. That's a good point. That's probably not the best idea to integrate with testbot only. Yeah.
We have a call with them. When is it? Is it today even? It is today. We could raise this with them and see if there's a way to test the long tail of the modules. But even having the first 100 done would be huge for Drupal 9 readiness.
Yeah.
But Shannon, to your point, yeah, it's like basically any one given site cannot move to Drupal 9 until all of its code is ready to move to Drupal 9, and that includes the bibliography podcast module, whatever that's what they're using. So they definitely need more than just web form and some of the basics. So
right, pants, all the goodies.
Yeah, it also includes their custom code and themes and stuff. So that's why the work that Matt did for as a general tool is very useful, because his tool could be used on a complete code base. Like if you have your site code base in Git, and that maybe you run Composer to have all the dependencies, and then you can run this tool on all of your code base locally, and then reports all the problems, including Drupal core and contrib modules and your own stuff. Or in your own code base, you can run it limited to just your custom code. That's the way that Dries did in his case, and they reported all the issues in all of his custom modules that he has, and then he fixed all the issues in all of his custom modules. So that's a possibility to do as well.
Yeah, it feels like we could really use a one-pager of documentation, or how many pages it needs to be, that tells people how to do that, and with a really cute little memorable URL or something, so that we can plaster that everywhere, put it in Dries's keynote, etc.
Yeah.
Because I know Matt Glayman has a blog post about it, but blog posts are very ephemeral. It'd be great if we had like a Drupal.org/blah blah, to do that.
Yeah, we have Drupal.org/documentation/9.
Cool. Yeah, right.
That we can. That's a good point. That we can exclusively an FAQ about Drupal 9, and we can start making it not be an FAQ, or like make a prominent question about this, etc. Something along those lines. Yeah, certainly. So that's Drupal 9. And I can also report on media, I guess. So I committed a few issues for media this week that are about views, features that the media will use, and automatically generating entity views and view and form displays. And we'll look at their issue to add the vertical navigation component to the media library. And once those are in, then the media patches to make a better media library that seamlessly chooses between grid and table view, and have this sidebar to filter by different media types will be able to be produced and land later on. So there's a bunch of interdependencies there, and they need patches to land one by one, and then they can work on the rest. And they need framework manager reviews apparently, but Adam didn't tell me which one issue exactly, but that would be great to know, so we can actually try to direct them there. So I will ask Adam. Right, any other questions? This became a very long meeting compared to how few we are.
Information packed.
Just want to say thanks for letting me listen. This was fun.
Yeah, sure. When we're not in the code freeze crunch, a lot of times there are more people and more varied accounts of things. But thanks to Keith and Christina for showing up and giving updates, and thanks to Gabor for the Drupal 9 deep dive too. That's great.
Cool.
And thank you for committing media patches. Yay!
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.